another Apollo Papyrus episode. I am Aaron Apollo Camp. For today's episode, my interview guest is the Chief Executive Officer of HOA.com and the author of the Raving Referrals series of business nonfiction books about, as the name suggests, referrals. His name is Brandon Barnum, and here's my interview with Brandon. Brandon Barnum, welcome to Apollo Papyrus.
Thank you, Aaron. My pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Feel free to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay, sure. My name is Brandon Barnum. I'm the CEO of HOA.com and really been on a mission to help business professionals that work by referral expand their referral partnerships. And on the homeowner side, we're on a mission to revolutionize the homeowner association industry. So we got a few different things that we're working on and been in this industry a long time. Over 27 years, done over $500 million in transactions by referral. And my last platform we built, we had 5 million members exchanging referrals all around the world.
As this will help some of our listeners who might not be totally familiar with the subject matter of your book understand what your book's about better, what types of businesses are largely or entirely dependent on referrals for any kind of business success?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great question. Ivan Meisner, who is the founder of BNI or Business Networking International, says 97% of businesses rely on referrals, but only 3% have a system for referrals. So it's really sort of two main camps. It's those that are in the B2B, the business to business world. In that industry, 83% of all transactions start with a referral. But then also, and what we focus on with HOA.com is professionals who serve homeowners. I did a dozen years as a mortgage lender, that realtors, financial planners, insurance agents, painters, plumbers, anybody that's out there providing services typically relies on referrals.
Without spoiling too much of Raving Referrals and Raving Referrals for Dentists, what are those books about?
Well, it really is about the whole referral process, but also building referral partnerships. What we found is that most people that are in business just are out there by themselves. They're kind of a lone wolf or a lone ranger. They don't have people that are sending them business or promoting them on a regular basis. And so that's what the book Raving Referrals is about, is number one, how do you get more referrals from your existing clients and customers so that you start each week with a full calendar of appointments? But then also number two, how do you partner with and cross-promote with other businesses and professionals who are serving your perfect prospects every day?
How did you get Steve Rogers, who's a former CEO of Warren Buffett's business empire, to write a recommendation for Raving Referrals?
Yeah, well, I had Steve speak at a Profit Partner Summit that we did back in 2017. So I had the great opportunity of meeting with him, and he and I are friends. And so when I wrote the first book, Raving Referrals, I reached out to Steve and asked him if he would review it and give me his feedback. And what he said was that this book is a must read for anyone whose business runs on referrals. And so that was a great quote, and we put it on the front of the book.
The sequel of sorts to Raving Referrals is called Raving Referrals for Dentists, and you co-wrote that with Julieanne O'Connor. What was it like to work with Julieanne on a book writing project?
You know, it was fantastic. And we've got another book coming out in the next month and a half called Raving Referrals for Mortgage Pros. So with Julieanne, she's just a really fantastic expert in the dental space, does a lot of coaching, consulting, and then also helps dentists work on building their social media and their brand. So it was a great fit. And I've known her for several years. And the beauty of the book series as I'm writing it is I've been mentored by Mark Victor Hansen, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And Mark, in addition to selling over 600 million books, his secret to success was that he wrote one book Chicken Soup for the Soul. And then he wrote subsequent titles focused on different areas. So he's been mentoring me for about 20 years now. And he said, don't write a book, build a brand. And so that's what we did with Raving Referrals is we built the brand. And so each of the co-authors of the subsequent books are taking my original book and then they are customizing it for the specific industry they serve.
Now, are the Raving Referrals books self-published, traditionally published, or published via a hybrid press?
Hybrid press on the first two. We partnered with Spotlight Publishing that published the books for us, but they're a smaller independent. It's not one of the major houses, but I wanted somebody that would give us that personalized attention. With the upcoming book, Raving Referrals for Mortgage Pros, and all of the subsequent books, I've actually started my own publishing house called Expertise Publishing. And so that will be the first book that we self-publish under our own publishing brand.
What were the easiest and most difficult parts of writing a book for you?
Well, the hardest part was actually writing the book. I wrote it a few years back and I wrote every single word. So some people hire a ghostwriter these days. Some people use a program like ChatGPT. But for me, it was essential that it be my story and my truth. And so I literally set aside the month of December during the pandemic and just kind of hold away into a cabin, if you will, and got the book written. So that was the biggest challenge. But, writing a book is only half the story. You've got to get it out there. You've got to help people understand what you're doing. Now, in my case, I've got a company where we serve professionals who work by referral. And so we actually give the book away as part of their onboarding process. So they've got the kind of manual, the system of success to help build their business. So, writing the book is one thing, getting the book to the market, a completely separate issue.
There is an online course on your book's website, and how does this work?
Yeah, so for those that want to take the Raving Referrals course, it's online. It's at ravingreferrals.com, and it's a self-study course. There are a little over 100 modules, but each is a video that's between 1 and 3 minutes. And it's really designed to walk you through the most important parts so that you can kind of sit there and sip your coffee in the morning and start your day with a quick tip about how to grow your business. Some people go through the entire course. It's about 4 hours long, and they'll just sit there and go start to finish. Others do it piecemeal, a day at a time or several topics at a time. So we've made it really flexible. And what we're working on now is a Raving Referrals certified trainer program, because we know there's a lot of people that are looking for great content that they can stand on stages and be able to present. So we're finalizing that up, and that'll be launched here in the next 30 days.
You mentioned moments ago that you decided not to use a ghostwriter or any kind of AI tools to write your book. A lot of people who get famous in a world other than book writing will often hire one or more ghostwriters. Could you elaborate some more on why you did not opt to use a ghostwriter?
Well, for me, I thought it was important. I wanted to make sure it was my own story and I had a vision for it. And quite frankly, Aaron, I started the book project over 10 years prior. So I had written various articles, blogs, and white papers that I was able to build into the content and the table of contents. And so for me, that was just important for me. Now, I know a lot of people that have hired ghostwriters, and we have ghostwriters that work for us. We're doing 3 other books right now that we'll be publishing this quarter. And some of those people are using a ghostwriter where we interview the prospective author. And so we're pulling their stories and their voice, and then we're just helping them put it in print. Because there's a lot of people that are great verbalizing their information, but when it comes to writing it down, that's a bigger challenge. And not everybody's capable and competent and confident in that area.
How does one master the art of the ask, as you like to call it, to get what one wants in life?
Oh, yeah. The art of the ask is awesome. And it's one of the biggest secrets to life. If you want more results, you need to ask more people for more things. But the art of the ask is really designed to generate more referrals from your existing clients. And basically, there's 3 steps. When you're meeting with a new client, you want to do three things. Number one, you're going to set the stage. Number two, you're going to listen for the referral triggers. And then number three, you're going to ASK to GET. So let me unpack those for you, Aaron. Basically, when you've got a client that you're meeting with, they've just decided to use your services. Well, before you let them leave your office or off the Zoom or off the phone, whatever the case may be for your business, you want to ask them for a favor. You want to say, hey, Aaron, would it be okay if I ask you for a favor? And most people will say one of two things, either absolutely or maybe tell me more. Well, then what you want to ask them is you want to say, I'm so grateful that you've chosen to work with us, and we're committed to wowing you with our service, really providing an amazing experience for you. And once you've experienced our service and you know how professional we are, I'd like to ask you for permission to ask you for referrals at a later date. Would that be okay? Now, everyone will say yes, because this is setting the stage. This is step one, right? You're setting the stage. And in that conversation, what you'll find is some people will give you referrals right on the spot. They'll say, oh, you know what, Aaron, I've got somebody that is looking for your services right now, and they'll give you a referral immediately. But even if they don't, what happens when you set the stage is you're basically just telling them, I'm committed to doing a great job for you. Okay. And you're getting their permission to ask them for referrals later. Now, the beauty of that is you should feel comfortable because you're just saying you're going to do a great job. They're totally comfortable. So it's a really easy ask. And we've had 100% of people say yes to that request. So that's setting the stage. Now you start serving them, you start helping them, you do what you do. And in that process, you're listening for the referral triggers, which is step two. And that's going to sound something like, oh, thank you, or this is so great. You've done such a good job. I look so good. I feel so great. I've saved so much money, time, energy, whatever it is that your service delivers. You're listening for that expression of appreciation. And when you hear it, that's the referral trigger to ASK to GET. Now you want to say, Aaron, I'm so glad to hear you say that. If you remember when we first met, I told you I was committed to helping you have an awesome experience. And now that you've experienced this for yourself, we'd love to help some others just like you get these same results. We're passionate about making a difference in people's lives. So do you know any other businesses that would benefit from this service? Or, you describe your perfect prospect in that last sentence, and that's when you ask them and generate more referrals.
One final question. With social media being a big thing now, influencer marketing has become a big thing along with that. And what does the future of influencer marketing look like?
I think it's just going to continue to expand. You're going to see more and more influencers because more people are getting more followers, right? And so we always say you should influence influencers. You mentioned Steve Rogers. I mentioned Mark Victor Hansen. These are people that have massive influence in the market. But your business might be different. You might be looking to partner with a social media influencer, or you might be looking to partner with a company or a nonprofit that is serving and communicating to the people that you're looking to attract for your business. So it really depends on what business you're in. But the key is you want to add value to people that are adding value to others. They already have rapport and trust built with a community of people. And when you can get them to be your champion and take your message to the market, you're going to expand your income, expand your influence, and expand your impact while you're helping them do the same thing.
Brandon, thank you for appearing on Apollo Papyrus. You were an amazing guest.
Oh, thanks for having me, Aaron. My absolute pleasure. And, last parting thought, I'd say make sure that you get clear on exactly what you want. Write it down, write down your goals. When you do, you're going to find these things come to pass quickly. It's all about getting clarity. So thanks for bringing me on, Aaron, and allowing me to provide a little clarity to the people that you serve.
Although this is about the only major similarity between the book writing and literature industry and professions like real estate sales and the building trades, authors, editors, cover designers, and everyone else who makes publishing a book possible are all dependent on referrals, whether it be in the form of recommendations, book reviews, or otherwise, for any measure of economic success. It was wonderful to interview Brandon, and he was a fantastic guest on an important topic. This is Aaron Apollo Camp reminding y'all to write and read your passion. Bye for now. Remember to subscribe to the Apollo Papyrus YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/@ApolloPapyrus and the Apollo Papyrus Substack newsletter at apollopapyrus.substack.com. Y'all can visit the Apollo Papyrus website at campaaronapollo.wixsite.com/Apollo Papyrus and follow Apollo Papyrus on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at Apollo Papyrus. Copyright 2024, Aaron Apollo Camp, all rights reserved. This podcast episode is intended for the private listening of our audience. Any reuse or retransmission of this episode without the express written consent of the podcast host is prohibited, except under fair use guidelines. Royalty-free music and sound effects obtained from https://www.zapsplat.com.